Welcome to the world of reflection in Go. In this video, we're diving deep into the powerful capabilities that Go offers for examining types and values while your program is running. We'll specifically focus on the reflect package and when it's appropriate to use reflection in your Go programs. So what exactly is reflection? In simple terms, it's the ability of a program to examine its own structure and even modify its behavior as it's running. This means you can inspect types, values, and methods, all in a dynamic way, making decisions based on information that's only available during runtime. This opens up many possibilities for creating flexible and adaptable software. The Reflect package is the core of reflection in Go. To use it, you'll need to import it into your program using the statement import reflect. Within this package, there are two fundamental types to understand. The first is reflect type, which provides information about the type of a variable. The second is reflect value, which gives you access to the value of a variable. Let's explore a couple of basic reflection functions. First up, we have reflect.typeOf. This function takes a variable x as input and returns its type. For example, if x is an integer, it will return the type int. The other essential function is reflect value of x. This function also takes a variable x as input, but instead of returning the type, it returns the actual value of x. So, if x is an integer with the value 42, it will return the value 42. Let's see reflection in action with a simple example. First, we declare a variable x of type integer and assign it the value 42. Then we use reflect.typeOf to get the type of x and store it in the variable t. Similarly, we use reflect.valueOf to get the value of x and store it in the variable v. When we print t, it outputs int because that is the type of x. When we print v, it outputs 42, which is the value of x. Reflection is especially useful when working with structs. You can use it to inspect the fields of a struct at runtime. Here's how. First, let's define a person struct with two fields, name of type string and age of type integer. To inspect the fields, we create an instance of the person struct called p and assign it some values, Alice and 30. Then, we get the type of p using reflect type of p and store it in the variable t. Now, we can loop through the fields of the struct using a for loop. Inside the loop, we use t field I to get the ith field of the struct. Finally, we print the name of each field using field.name. Reflection is a powerful tool, but it's important to use it judiciously. There are certain scenarios where it shines, and others where it's best avoided. Good use cases include serialization, working with struct tags, building generic libraries, and creating testing frameworks. On the other hand, avoid reflection when performance is critical, when the type is known at compile time, when type safety is paramount, or when code clarity is important. Let's recap the key takeaways from this video. First, reflection provides runtime type inspection capabilities, allowing you to examine types and values as your program is running. Second, use reflection sparingly due to its performance overhead. It's perfect for libraries, serialization, and generic tools where flexibility is more important than raw speed. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Thank you.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.